My name is Dr. Sherman Silber. I'm an infertility doctor from St. Louis, and I have been a shareholder in coming to this meeting for 23 years, and I want to thank you very much for making my grandchildren very rich. And they sometimes compare me in the medical world to infertility world as the Berkshire Hathaway of infertility, because I'm so old and I come from a relatively small community. But I'm wondering about your interest in not just Apple, but all of the tech stocks like Amazon and Google, because you've avoided them, you stated in the past, because they're complicated. You should stick with something you understand. On the other hand, Amazon and Google have what you call a very durable competitive advantage. They really hardly have any competitor. And that's true in China, too, of Alibaba and Tencent. So it seems like it's a conflict, and I'm wondering if you're going to be turning the corner and going into these tech companies that seem to have no serious competition.
Well, we certainly looked at them, and we don't think of whether we should be in tech companies or not, or that sort of thing. We are looking for things where we do get into the durability of the competitive advantage, and whether we think that our opinion might be better than other people's opinion in assessing the probability of the durability, so to speak. But the truth is that I've watched Amazon from the start, and I think what Jeff Bezos has done is something close to a miracle, and the problem is, if I think something will be a miracle, I tend not to bet on it. It would have been better, far better, obviously, if I'd had some insights into certain businesses. But in fact, Bill Gates told me early on, that I think I was on all of this, and he suggested I turn to Google. But the trouble was, I saw that Google was skipping past all of this, and then I wondered if anybody could skip past Google. And I saw at Geico that we were paying a lot of money for something that cost them nothing incrementally. So we've looked at it, and I've made a mistake in not being able to come to a conclusion where I really felt that at the present prices that the prospects were far better than the prices indicated. And I didn't go into Apple because it was a tech stock in the least. I mean, I went into Apple because I came to certain conclusions about both the intelligence with the capital would be employed, but more important, about the value of an ecosystem and how permanent that ecosystem could be, and what the threats were to it, and a whole bunch of things. And I don't think that required me to take apart an iPhone or something and figure out what all the components were or anything. It's much more the nature of consumer behavior. And some things strike me as having a lot more permanence than others. But the answer is, I'll miss a lot of things that I don't feel I understand well enough. And there is no penalty in investing if you don't swing at a ball that's in the strike zone, as long as you swing at something at some point, and eventually that you find the pitches you like. And that's the way we'll continue to do it. We'll try to stay within our circle of competence, and Charlie and I generally agree on sort of where that circle ends, and what kind of situations where we might have some kind of an edge in our reasoning or our experience or something, that where we might evaluate something differently than other people. But the answer is we're going to miss a lot of things. Charlie?
Yeah, we have a wonderful system. If one of us is stupid in some area, so is the other. And of course, we were not ideally located to be high-tech wizards. How many people of our age quickly mastered Google? I've been to Google headquarters. They look to me like it looks like a kindergarten.
A very rich kindergarten.
Yes.
No, it's extraordinarily impressive what they've done. And like I say, at Geico, we were paying them a lot of money at the time they went public, and all three of them, the main characters, Eric, Larry, and Sergey, they actually came and saw me, but they were more than talking about going public and the mechanics of it and various things along that line. But it wasn't like what they were doing was a mystery to me. The mystery was how much competition would come along and how effective they would be, and whether it would be a game where 4 or 5 people were slugging it out without making as much money as they could if one company dominated. Those are tough decisions to make. You can have industries where there's only 2 people in it and they still aren't very, very good because they beat each other's brains out. And that's one of the questions in the airline business. It's a better business now than it used to be, but it used to be suicide. So, and you know that the competitive factors are extraordinary in airlines. And how much better business is it with 4 people operating at 85% capacity than it was with 7 or 8 and operating in the mid-70s and with more planes around? Those are tough decisions, but I made the wrong decision on Google and Amazon. I really consider that a miracle that you could be doing Amazon Web Services and changing retail at the same time without enormous amounts of capital, and do it with the speed and effectiveness of what Amazon has done. I underestimated. I had a very, very, very high opinion of Jeff's ability when I first met him, and I underestimated him. Charlie?
Well, my comment would be that the shareholders have one thing to be thankful for. Some of the age-related stupidity at headquarters has been ameliorated by Ted and Todd joining us. We are looking at the world with the aid of some younger eyes now, and they've had a contribution
Significant.
beyond their own investments. And so you're very lucky to have them, you shareholders, because there's a lot of ignorance in the older generation that needs removal.
This question comes from Keeley and actually is directly about the issue of moats. He notes that Elon Musk this week on his Tesla earnings call said the following, quote, "I think moats are lame. They are like nice in a sort of quaint vestigial way, and if your only defense against invading armies is a moat, you will not last long. What matters is the pace of innovation. That is the fundamental determinant of competitiveness," unquote. So Warren, it seems the world has changed. Business is getting more competitive, pace of innovation, technology is impacting everything. Is Elon right?
Elon says a conventional moat is quaint, and that's true of a puddle of water. And he says that the best moat would be to have a big competitive position, and that is also right. You know, it's ridiculous. Warren does not intend to build an actual moat. Even though they're quaint.
Yeah. There's certainly a great number of businesses. This has always been true, but it does seem like it